Peter Attia 是加拿大知名，我觉得与其说他是医生或医学博士，不如说他是运动员。如果要一句话概括他的专业，那就是延年益寿策略家。不过Attia博士的方法与其说吃啥喝啥，他最重视的就是有氧跟肌耐力运动。Attia本人的体态也跟职业运动员没两样，他曾经2度游泳过加州 Catalina Channel， 距离约31公里。为了让大家更快速吸收 Peter Attia 的心法， Life Kaizen 将为大家把英语圈的生活改善新知，定期以超浓缩+画重点的形式制作成影片，供各位朋友参考及分享。您的支持是我持续做这个节目的动力，喜欢的话请务必订阅、点赞、按小铃铛哦。
I wanted to talk to you about Theranos.
我这里解释一下 Theranos 是一间曾经被捧上天的矽谷医疗检测公司，不过媒体更关注的是它的创办人 Elizabeth Holmes， 曾经被捧为女版贾伯斯。这间公司估值一度高达100亿美金，然后就没然后了。自2015年被爆料都是诈骗后，就迅速跌落神坛，成为在 FTX 以前最大的新创骗局。目前这位伊丽莎白姐姐正在蹲大牢，有兴趣的朋友可以自己去查相关故事，我就不赘述了。
Because I am fucking completely obsessed with that lady and her scam company.
Dude, did you know that I was almost the chief medical officer of that company?
No.
Yeah, dude. So in 2006, my McKinsey office, which was in Palo Alto, which was one street over from where Theranos was located. So Theranos at the time was a super small company. So a good friend of mine, his father-in-law was on the board and knew Elizabeth Holmes very well. He was her professor at Stanford. And the company was small at that time. It was like maybe 30 people there, something like that. And he said, look, I want you, my friend, to potentially look at this company, and because they could really use a CFO, and he was in private equity at the time, really smart guy. And to make a long story short, I got introduced to Elizabeth. So I went down and had lunch with her one day. I sat down in the office, and she pulled out a black box that was, I don't know if it was called Edison at the time or if it was the precursor to what would become Edison. Diagnostics is not something I knew a ton about, but I'd spent 2 years at the NIH, and I certainly understand how chemical reagents work, and I understand how chemical assays work. So I was saying to her, Elizabeth, I don't understand how you could put a drop of blood in here and get anything out that's more interesting than glucose, hemoglobin, sodium, and potassium, the really simple things that can work, that can be measured off a drop of blood. And she kind of gave me some answer, and I said, well, can I see the inside of the box? And she said, absolutely not. And I said, well, I've signed an NDA. I had to sign an NDA to get in the building. And she was like, no. I just decided I wasn't interested in the company because I couldn't get sort of straight answers from her. So I ended up not doing it. So fast forward to this was 2006. Fast forward to 2015, she's now on the cover of Forbes. And
you're like,
Well, no. I remember one day saying to my wife, because she was on the cover of Forbes, and the company was valued at a little over $9 billion. And I said to my wife, do you know how much we would be worth if I had taken that job now? And she's like, how much? And I told her, and she's like, good God. And I'm at the Vanity Fair event in San Francisco. I didn't know it at the time. This was a week before the Wall Street Journal article would fall, John Carrio's article that was the one that kind of unraveled all of Theranos in October of 2015. And
how did he figure it out? How did this one guy figure out that it was all
So I haven't read his book, Bad Blood, but I saw the documentary, so that's like a poor man's version of it. But basically just interviewing people who were formerly employees of the company.
Oh, so they were bean spillers.
Yeah. And they were basically like, yeah, this is a total scam.
Oh my God.
And so sure enough, I'm at this reception because she's the speaker of the event. So she's like, it's a 4-day conference, and she's the one everyone is there to see. So I'm sitting at a table, and I'm having a cocktail, and she walks up, and I said, hey, Elizabeth, you probably don't remember me. She goes, no, I remember you exactly. And she remembered my name and even remembered how I had been introduced to her. I was like really blown away. We exchanged pleasantries. She gave me her card. And then a week later, it all unraveled. And it's really funny. I still have the card.
You should frame it.
Yeah.
She must have known that the shit was hitting the fan.
No, she totally did. Yeah. Because the shit was hitting the fan 6 months earlier.
What does one do? And it's not like you can liquidate, right? Like if you're worth $9 billion, but it's all stock and you know the product is nonsense, you can't even get out. So
well, it's a private company, so at best, you know, she could have along the way been doing secondaries off her take, but
so it wasn't even Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated that she wouldn't let you look into the box. Because I guess if you looked into the box, you would immediately be able to be...
I don't know that I would have. I don't want to overstate my credentials. I'm not a clinical chemist. She could have duped me, I'm sure. But she didn't... I mean, and again, we're under NDA. We're talking about me joining her company as a chief medical officer. Like,
right.
How are you not going to let me see inside this freaking box? Like, what do you want? How am I going to do my job?
How could she have duped you, though, if she's not technically astute? Like, she doesn't really understand
I don't know. She could. I mean, look, she presumably duped people smarter than me, right?
I think she duped. This is what drives me crazy. I think she duped people from the image. So for you, when all that was going down, that must have been incredibly sweet. Because now you don't have to think, man, I missed out on all that money.
Yeah, for sure. And I was also, I felt a little bit validated. Like, okay, there was a reason she didn't want to show me the inside of the box.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It might have been empty. It literally might have been empty.
There was candy in there.